Now, a private funeral is being held later this afternoon for the beloved TV entertainer Paul O'Grady, who died at home last month at the age of 67. Animals from Battersea Dogs and Cats Home will form a guard of honour, and music from the Salvation Army Band will fill the streets of Paul's hometown of Aldington in Kent.
What's a dog guard of honour?
Well, quite. I don't know. I suppose they're lining the streets and
We'll be able to find out. We'll be able to find out.
Let's speak now to the Head of Public Affairs at the RSPCA, David Bowles. Good morning to you, David. I don't know if you'll be attending the funeral today, but I know that you worked closely with Paul O'Grady, who was a patron for your charity.
Yeah, Paul O'Grady was a great supporter of rescue dogs, well, in fact, any animals, and you could tell that through his presenting. He didn't do it as a job; he did it because his love of animals shone through. He was a hugely empathetic person, hugely caring about this, and he did 11 series. He was just doing his 11th series of For the Love of Dogs because he loved it so much. Obviously, he is entirely synonymous with Battersea. But he did an awful lot of other things. He won a RSPCA Animal Heroes Award because of his work with animals. And indeed, he even did practical work. He fostered a sheep that had been abandoned, and he had a small holding in the south of England. And he said to us, you've got a sheep, a lamb that has been abandoned. I'll take that. And he did. And he fostered it. And it's down to him that animal was rescued and rehomed.
Was it? I mean, all animals he was interested in, or was he particularly a dog person, a cat person?
So obviously he was known for the love of dogs, which was mainly about dogs. But I think his empathy on all animals shone through. He was an extremely dedicated person towards all animals. When I spoke to him at the awards ceremony, he was interested in all the work that the RSPCA was doing, whether it was on cats and dogs or wider in terms of horses or rabbits or even reptiles and the wider animal industry. He was hugely empathetic and compassionate, and I think that's the really important message that I think your viewers need to take home as today's funeral happens.
Yeah, he was extraordinary in that sense, but he also had this amazing knack of bringing the public with him and tapping into the British public's love of animals, didn't he? And he personally, I suppose you could say, you could credit him with doing wonderful things in kind of encouraging, rebranding, if you like, the adoption of dogs and cats and rescue animals.
Yeah, importantly, it's the last phrase that you use there is rescue animals. People, when they tend to get dogs and cats, they tend to sort of go for what they believe are the sort of the A class of animals, the purebreds, and so they will go to breeders. What Paul did, which was really important, and he communicated it so well through his programs, was that he showed that there are a number of other animals, particularly rescue dogs and rescue cats, that are all in search of a home. They don't have a home because people regard them as second-class as animals. And what Paul showed was that they are no longer second-class animals. They are exactly the same sentient beings as purebreds. And he made them important and sexy to have. And I think that was really important because it didn't just affect the brand of Battersea, it affected the rehoming rates in organisations like the RSPCA, where people then became to approach us and say, have you got any rescue dogs that I've seen For the Love of Dogs showing? Because I'd like to have one of those rather than just a purebred. And that was an important mindset change for the public, and it still continues to this day.
David, could you tell us a little bit about what this dog guard of honour is? Because I think everyone's slightly baffled by it. How does it work? Can you rely on the dogs to actually form a guard? Do they not start yapping? What happens?
You can't rely on animals to do anything. Animals will do what animals want to do. Battersea are famous for having these guards of dogs. They've had the Queen open their centre in Battersea. They've had the Queen Consort go to their centre, and when they do that, they have this sort of guard of honour of dogs all wearing pennants, and they just they sit there in a line, which I imagine the cortege will go down. And to be honest, I've never seen this guard of honour misbehave at all. They must pick the dogs extremely well. They are all very, very well behaved, very well obedient, just as you'd expect from, to be honest, any rescue dog. They are encapsulating the message that Paul put across, that if you want a good, well-behaved, well-researched dog, go and get a rescue dog. And I think that is testament to what he was saying in his messages over the last 13 years on the series of For the Love of Dogs.
Well, it will be a sad day, but I think it will also be a real moment of kind of positive reflection on all the things he achieved and all those animals that he personally, I suppose, rescued as well. David Bowles, really good to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much.